Mm. Oh boy. Having myself a touch of the Shanghai meal. Yep, you know how to use these things when you can eat wet rice with them. Or you know that your father might have been in the military and you were based overseas. And you never forgot those good old days of ramen with green onion and egg. Uh-oh. It's getting musical around these parts. The snow is melting, and I was watching Kevin Samuels while playing my video game. New character, had to do it. Had to finally do the ultimate. My ultimate. He looks like a Sith. It's kind of cool. Um, yeah. Okay. So if you play Eve Online with me, this character is she's not going to mine a single rock ever. Never going to mine a rock. So, if there was something said on the Kevin Samuels thing about all our lives were raised to be wives, from like, oh yeah, and this woman was really having kind of an issue with Kevin Samuels being like, what, you know, and he really actually had a retort that was brilliant. Then why are so few black women married? And this is again one of these moments where you realize black females do not interact with women of other colors in their youth. They are not at another girl's house. I'm starting to actually really think this through of something that came up. Hood Conservative brought this up, and this has come up a lot with kind of the successful black man movement and stuff. Is talk to people who aren't like you, and it appears. I mean, it was a number of videos like your Stay Weird by Black Introvert. That this black woman was saying, no, black women tend to be shallow and into like a very short list of things. And when you are a black dude who is, whether you're good looking or whatever, but when you're interested in things that black women don't know what you're talking about, they say they're just like, he's weird. It really is that. No, he knows he's interested in things that are outside of this very small, what's becoming really the interests of a people that are almost reverting back to something prior to leaving the African grasslands. I mean, like this is getting bad. This is getting bad. This is shallow. I mean, the shallow mindedness. Um, these norms of embracing everything that really men don't really like. Women think it's attractive. They think, oh, look at, she's wearing one of those, and her nails are like this, and men just think this is hideous. They just look more and more. The women look comical, like clowns, really, and comical. Like, why doesn't anybody understand that Lauryn Hill's hair looked great? Like, yeah, yeah. So, oh yes, I forget. That's why. So something I had to think about was, I was like, okay, no. You weren't raised to be a wife if you weren't taught how to shine your father's shoes. Your father didn't say, this is how you shine shoes. If you were never taught how to operate, like how to hang up clothes and steam clean them, you were not raised to be a wife. If you don't know off the top of your head how to make a dish from scratch, like a pie, cookies, that you just know how to do it, you've done it so many times. I mean, really, it's one of these things. It's just straight up. And then the other is, can you figure out how much a week of meals, breakfast, lunch, dinner costs? If not, no, you were absolutely not raised to be a wife. You're just this complete pretense. You were just taught to find somebody to breed with or something like that, like something. I mean, it's a much lower level what was being discussed on this. But she's saying, oh, you got to find yourself a good man with a good job. This is like some kind of backward, low social class. That's not preparation to be a wife. And then it was, because marriage doesn't work. We know that. No, marriage does work. It's actually the only thing that is specifically different about the modern Eurosphere. The reason why we have Hoover Dam is because marriage works. Marriage makes Hoover Dam. Our form of marriage makes Hoover Dam and NASA. And people want to try to include ways of the past which do work. They work in creating everything up until about the 1400s. If you want child sacrifice, I mean, no, really, marriage doesn't have anything to do with child sacrifice. No. But having, but you see, if you are young and you have child, and you at some point must couple with, you get hitched with somebody who will then make you one of many wives, and you will be taking care of his estate and his businesses and his servants and his cattle and things like that, while he goes off and raids other villages or helps, support the local priesthood of Mammon or whatever. Polygamy and polygyny and just fucking out of control, all that. No, it works really great. If hose up G's up, being a temple prostitute and getting paid fundamentally your dowry in silver for the chance that, like, you very likely are getting impregnated by foreign diplomats and foreign traders, men who could afford, they could afford it. Because you're dismissed from the temple once you get pregnant, but now you have a kid from a faraway land. Now, to savage people, this is very, you're going to have beautiful babies, you have this exotic child. Now, to the savage mind, this is great. You see, the modern mind knows that, no, if I actually, like the Chinese do, if I keep my daughter away from as many males as possible, then when she's introduced to males, she's going to have, a somewhat natural wariness, because she would not have had a whole lot of game run on her, is not good at trying to run game, she's socially awkward, so therefore she actually has to construct a comfortable social setting in a social setting. See, this is why the whole idea of, if your girl doesn't talk to boys, and she's going to go out there and do all these things, where is she going to do them? At the library? When she meets guys at the library? You don't meet guys at the library. No, you don't meet guys at the library. You're a whore. You met your men at the bar, and you fuck a lot. Oh. Slut. You fuck a lot. You meet your men when you're drinking. See, when you had a culture that had people matchmaking, or you had functional black culture where the society operated heavily around the local church, or Prince Hall, and Eastern Stars and stuff like that, or Rosicrucian group or whatever. As black people, it turns out there's a lot of black people in Caribbeans that are into Rosicrucianism, and so that allowed you to then develop your social circle. Something about your actual wifiness would have been evident, such as what you wore, because before mass production of goods, you had to do it by hand, or you had to make adjustments by hand to mass-produced goods. So if you had a dress that was off the rack, but you had altered it for yourself, it showed. And it just shows. I mean, it looks like a custom-made dress. It looks very, very, very well tailored. That's it. That's a man who requires suits. He needs his wife to be able to do that. That's darning socks. Socks used to be an expense, really. Really, they weren't cheap, really. They weren't cheap like they are now on Amazon. They weren't made as robotically as they were before. And they weren't being shipped over from East Asia. So you had to darn all your socks. So women would have a sewing kit. If you don't have a sewing kit, a well-used sewing kit, you were never prepared to be a wife. Like your own. Your mom has one, you have your own. If you don't have a tape measure, you were not prepared to be a wife. Nobody tried to teach you the things that would make you a wife. You're lying. You're lying to yourself, and it's because you really are trying to deal with the women in my lineage just simply lacked all forms of there's no wisdom whatsoever. And that's why there's so many of them are single, are lonely aunties, and they really poisoned your mentality about men. That's why this woman then thought, like, oh, well, we don't need men, and there's no need there. It's like, oh, and he had to explain to them, do you know how much it's going to take to retire? Do you want to work till you die? Because men just take it for granted. I'm going to work until one day I literally am like hospitalized and I die. Like, it's just the way it is. It's just you just accept it. I figure that must be really hard for women. Some part of their mind when they really take that on. But I think for a long time it's just not real because they're so young. But yeah, so these were just some ideas I had in listening to Kevin Samuels. Have a bit more of my coffee. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Bye.